Hey everybody, welcome back to another fantastic episode of Ready to Die Fighting. I'm Chris. I'm down here in my basement and I'm working on my bike. And today I'm going to be removing this right here, this whole piece. This is the crank arm and the chain rings, and I'm just going to take that all off. It's not a difficult job to do, but it does require a specialized tool. It's one of the few parts of the bike where you really need a specialized tool in order to do it. I made a list of all your essential tools you need. They're mostly pretty basic to do most of the things on the bike, but here you got to do something special. It's, it's pretty easy. Let's go ahead and do it. But first, please like and subscribe. I've noticed the channel seems to be growing a bit lately, so I'm taking that to mean that I've been doing a lot of bike videos, so I guess you guys like them. So let's keep doing it. All right. So, what do we have here? So we're going to be removing this. You only need a handful of tools. This part right here, actually the whole thing, there's a number of ways that this can be done. Bikes are not standardized really, so there's a lot of different variants. This is one way that you'll often see. Not always by any stretch, but it's common enough. Sometimes it's a Allen key that you can use here. Sometimes I see a lot is like a bolt that you would need a socket wrench for. So either one. There could also be other things, but I see those. So right, first thing we're going to do is loosen this up. And it might be on there. Actually should be on there pretty hard. There we go. Like to use gravity when I can. Just loosen that up. And now it should come out nice and easy. There you go. So that is not how it comes off. That's just a screw that basically puts it back and kind of covers this all up and keeps it clean, I guess. Let's say. To actually remove the crank, there is a tapered axle or it's a square taper rod. I'm not sure what to call it, but I'll show you when I take it off. And this is basically just wedged on there with friction. So we need to use a crank puller to literally push it off that rod. And there's a couple of different versions that Part Tool makes. This is the CCP 22. And this is the CWP 7. They work the same. This is one of the very first bike tools I ever bought. And I thought I lost it, so I bought another one. I bought this one, and it's the same thing. The way this works is this comes in two pieces. Just gonna unscrew that for you so you can see the two pieces. There you go. And this piece gets threaded on here. Let's put a tiny, actually this already has grease on it. If it doesn't have grease, go ahead and just put a tiny bit of grease on there. And you want to be careful. You do not want to cross thread this. So just use your hands. Don't crank down on it. Try to get it in there straight and easy. Take your time. Be patient. You'll know when it's in there. Or maybe you won't. But if you feel any resistance at all, like if it's taking any effort to screw in, now it feels like I got it, then you have a problem. So just turn it by hand. All right, that's it. If you want, you can tighten it just a little bit, although I find that is not really necessary. Just give it a little extra turn. There. Now, balance that precariously there. Oh, wrong thing. I don't know why I grabbed that. All right, so now you grab the second piece, and it screws in to the first piece. And what that's going to do is going to push against that tapered rod in there. And it's going to pull the whole thing off of there. So it should turn pretty easily. All right, so now we've gotten to the end of it. And I can show you what's happening here. So your crank puller, you've got this part inside here, and then you take the smaller one, and as it goes in, it comes out like that, and it's pushing against, and the whole thing slides back. So this is gripping the whole thing. This pushes. If that makes sense, best I can do. So now, if you're using this style, you've already got a handle, and you can just turn, tighten it up, and it'll push it out. Otherwise, I prefer using a socket wrench with a ratchet. I feel like it's a little bit easier. You could also use this big bad boy, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you have. This is a, what size is it? 15 millimeter. And tighten, turn it, turn it, turn it. It should not be super difficult. And so once it starts to get easy like that, that means it's already off. Now, you can just slide that right off. Look at there. Donezo. Now we can clean this. We can powder coat it. We can upgrade it. We can replace it. We can do whatever it is that we're going to do. And just taking the tool out. Loosen that back up. And so the reason why I initially did this was because I needed to do some work on my bottom bracket here. And so you can see it's this metal rod and it's squared. And there's a taper and it just kind of flares outward like that. And it's bigger towards the back, skinnier towards the middle. And yeah, it's just this middle piece pushes against there, and you can see how that's moving. It just pushes it back until it just comes right off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it back because I actually already serviced this. And so I took a teeny tiny bit of grease, like I'm talking just a drop, because I like putting grease on everything, like that much. I'll show you how much I got there. See, like that. And I just rubbed it in like lotion. Just because I like to put, basically wherever there's metal on metal, I kind of like to put just a little bit. Keep everything easy. There. Now, I'm just going to put it back because, yeah, I already serviced the bottom bracket. That's a separate video if you're interested in learning more about that. So now, when you're putting it back, don't be like me. I've done this more than once. If you don't pay attention, for one, you forget to put the chain back on. So that's an issue. But then also, you got to pay attention to where your other crank arm is. Otherwise, you end up with something crazy like that. And that's not really a good way to ride a bike. It doesn't work well. So pay attention to what you're doing. Make sure that crank arm is facing downward and this one is going in the opposite direction. Get your chain on there. And then it doesn't really matter how you get it on there. I'm just going to go like, oh, no, that's not helpful. I just kind of put it in the kind of way. And now slide it on. And so we're opposite ended. I'm just going to push it a little bit. And then just to help start it off, I'm taking a rubber mallet. I'm going to back you guys up a little bit. And I'm just going to give it a few taps just to get it going. There. get it going on there. And so it's sliding onto that wedge, and it's going to be held on by friction. This bolt's not holding it on, but as you screw this in, put a little bit of grease on there. Just a tiny bit. You don't have to go crazy with it. Just a little is all you need. Just put it around those threads. Just so helps prevent some rust. Makes the screws and bolts easy to come out. And so as you screw this on and it tightens up, it's going to push against this. Now, I don't know what torque this needs to go to, but at work, you put it at 40. Typically, it's a different style, so I don't know if that makes a difference, but the way I judge it is by the size of the Allen key. And so this is an 8mm, so it can take some forces. And 40mm is a lot. That's a lot of torque. So I'm not too concerned about going too tight here. I'm more worried that I'm not going to get it tight enough. But really try to get it on there. So you want things to be in line properly for the gears. I usually have to really crank down on this. I'm going to call that good enough for now. We'll see how it shifts in a bit. But that is it. This is done. So if this video was helpful to you, if you enjoyed it, hit that like and subscribe button like I asked in the beginning. And I'm going to be doing more videos like this. I'm sorry if you can hear the washing machine going, but I need to clean my jiu-jitsu clothes for class in like 45 minutes. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.